This is me, Emma, sitting in a different corner of my lounge this time. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Emma and I'm an artist, and I have the privilege and pleasure to work and live up here in Cumbria in the northwest of the UK, of England I should say, and it's just a joy to be with you each week chatting about this and that and trying to show you aspects of my life that maybe might inspire you, or just inviting you to consider living a little bit more slowly, a little bit more intentionally, and perhaps a bit more creatively by doing so. I do believe when we slow down we become much more creative, because we're kind of tapping into our true nature, our true essence. We're kind of letting go more of the voices in our head that are telling us to do things a particular way, or perhaps other people's influences that come in and say we should be doing things in a certain way. And more I'm personally finding I'm trying to follow my own path. I'm letting go of a lot of the stuff that I bought into when I was younger. I think particularly from childhood, whatever you've got going on in your childhood, our relationships with other people, the significant people in our lives, particularly when we were children. And I'm becoming much more aware, I don't know whether you are, but much more aware of all of those voices that said, don't do that, that's not safe, stay small, stay safe. You know, don't be too much, don't be too much for the world, don't shine your light. I can remember taking exams at school, and I was quite bright, I thought I was quite bright anyway, and I worked hard. I really loved doing exams. I know it sounds mad, but when I was much younger I really relished sort of the challenge of doing exams and sort of competing with my friends in my class, which sounds a bit awful, but there was a bit of jostling, shall we say, because I went to a school where that was kind of a thing. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was an awareness I had that, you know, it was good to pass exams. You know, you got praise if you passed exams. So I used to work hard, and but it was this feeling that you were somehow in competition with other people, or that, you know, you had to really show your value through doing these exams, you know, because that's how the world measures a lot of us, is through, you know, our examination results. And tough if you can't do exams, or you find doing exams difficult. But I think one of the things which I do remember was not saying you'd done well in an exam was a thing. So you'd come out of the exam, and I don't know if this rings any bells with you, but even if you thought you'd done really well, or you'd really enjoyed it even, shall I say, that you'd enjoyed the process of showing your knowledge, perhaps, you know, and it's a bit of an odd thing to say this, but I can remember saying, oh yeah, oh that was terrible, oh I didn't do very well in that. And it was like this thing where you weren't allowed to say, hey, I really, you know, I nailed that one, that was a great exam and I feel like I really did very well in it. And you wouldn't dream of saying that, you just wouldn't. And I just think that became a thing in my life, that you just didn't shine. You didn't say, wow, I'm really good at doing this thing, I'm brilliant at this. And you can see, you know, perhaps athletes you see on television who have really nailed it, they've worked extremely hard and they're out there and they are really top of their game. But even then, you're not really supposed to say, well, I'm just absolutely brilliant, aren't I? Fantastic. It's just not done, is it? You're not allowed to shine your light and be as bright and sparkly. And just imagine if everybody was allowed to shine their light and be bright and sparkly and say, yes, I'm brilliant at this, instead of hiding in this sort of underworld of saying, oh, well, I'm not really very good at that. Because I think that becomes a thing in your head where you just go, oh, well, I won't even attempt that because I know I won't be very good at it. You know, people who go for a job and you go, oh, and you don't, you go, you know, say maybe you go for a job interview and you go, oh, well, I don't suppose I'll get this job. And you think, well, how's that going to work for you? And I have done this sort of thing in the past, as I say, and I think more and more as I'm moving down the conveyor belt of life and I'm becoming more wise and mature, I like to say it, I'm growing stronger. I don't say I'm getting older, I say I'm growing stronger, because every step of the path that I'm seemingly on is kind of, sometimes it's a bit challenging and sometimes I don't really want to do it, but it seems to be bringing me to a place where I am expanding and growing and being challenged, but doing things differently. And I think it's the doing things differently and letting go of these past programs that say, you know, don't do that, stay small, stay safe, don't shine your light, don't be bright, you know, don't be amazing. What's wrong? You know, why not be amazing? Because then everybody else around you could maybe step up and be amazing too. So if this sounds a bit mad, I apologise, but it's just kind of come to me this morning that this is what I wanted to say. So I've actually changed. You may see I'm sitting in a slightly different place. I'm challenging myself to sit somewhere different today. I feel as though it's very easy to get stuck, isn't it? And I felt like I was stuck in that corner. I didn't dare do anything different. I do apologise if the light keeps coming and going, but that's the weather for you. It was quite nice and shady and cloudy when I set up here, and I have got, in my house, it's quite tricky to know where to film sometimes because I've either got lots of really white boring walls, because we don't have a lot of pictures and stuff, we just really have walls that hold the house up, and they're all painted white. So I get little corners like this where I've got stuff to be looked at and enjoyed and appreciated, and I have got some pictures up here and there, but partly because we have really thick old walls, it's very difficult to hang pictures, so we tend not to do that. And white walls, because they're easy to change the colours, I tend to change like the colours of my, you know, my cushions. I'll change cushions, or I'll change, very occasionally I'll change curtains, but more likely, you know, I'll switch the cushions around, and I'll have, so for example on here, I will just show you on my sofa at the moment, I've got a gorgeous, this is beautiful Harris tweed that I bought many years ago when we went up to Harris and Lewis, and I treated myself, and I'm sure some of you might have some of this stashed away. Gorgeous material, and I made myself use it instead of just keeping it in a cupboard and saying, oh well, I better not use that, it's too good to use. I jolly well got it out, I've made a handbag, and I've got a lovely cushion, and this is quite an old cushion. You can see because it's quite faded, and that's the other thing, isn't it? If you get your good stuff out, it's going to fade. It's a fact. So yeah. So as I say, I'm just trying to zhuzh things up a little bit because I find that if I do things differently myself, it changes my attitude. If I try things that are new, and even if it's a bit scary sometimes, and I know I've talked to you about my bicycle, and I've talked to you about, if you're new here, I bought a bicycle last year, and I'm slowly learning and building up my skills on that to go further afield. It's taken me a long time, it's a slow process. I've also been doing a bit of wild swimming, or as we used to call it, swimming, lake swimming or river swimming, so I'm slowly building that up as well. But I just really thought, I don't know, I've noticing that I'm being braver in my art world, if you like. I'm actually stepping out and saying, I'm an artist. I'm not just a textile artist. I think textile artist was this kind of, it was like a cover. It said, don't expect very much, I'm just a textile artist. And I know that sounds weird. And there are some fantastic, very brilliant textile artists out there, of whom I am one. I'm going to claim I'm a very good textile artist. I am, and I love what I do. But I felt recently there's more to me than just being a textile artist. And I know here on my YouTube I have shown a lot of textile art, and I've shown some of my other stuff, which has been sketchbooks. And I'm feeling I'm just being braver and saying, well, actually, what if I just show some of my actual art? What if I show up and do pictures that I've drawn, you know, sketches or other pieces of art that I'm learning to use some materials in a different way. As you'll see if you're on my Substack at all and you're getting my paid videos, I've just done a really nice one which I will talk about, where I've been drawing and showing people how to draw. And for years I thought, I can't teach other people how to draw, I hardly know how to draw myself. And I think my take on it is I'm kind of sharing my journey, if you like. So what I'm exploring and finding out, I'm trying to share that with other people to perhaps inspire you to, you know, do similarly. So I was going to show you these today. This is something I set up to do, I think particularly when COVID was on and stuff, and we were really stuck at home, weren't we? And I may have shown you these before, but I had a sketchbook in the kitchen, and I just drew what was around me. So there are many, many pictures of our cutlery rack, our not vases, you know, cups, kettle, loads and loads of drawings. So like every day I would just do a drawing in the kitchen. So there's some garlic, but I've drawn it in different ways and I'm experimenting, and I kind of want to get back to this. There was a while when I was downsizing my studio, because I've moved out of a very big studio and I'm now in a very small space. There was a while when I was thinking, oh, see there's some more kettles, more jugs. There was a while when I thought, oh, do these sketchbooks have any value? Are they any use to me? And I just thought I nearly threw them all away. And I did go through and I did get rid of some old ones which were not terribly brilliant, I will be honest. They were like early sketchbooks from years ago when I didn't know quite how to draw or how I wanted to draw. So there's using some colour, being brave and using some colour. So I am actually revisiting these things and tapping into that artist that was always there, but I'm actually being brave and sharing it more with the world and saying, actually, I'm an artist and I can do many things, and I'm going to shout about those things. I'm not sure what that is. This says 3 avocados in a bowl. So I'm not drawing anything that's outrageously difficult. I'm drawing what's around me, and I think that's a lot of times in life. You just need to start with where you are. I had a friend, which I may have told you this story before, who, you know, she was very artistic years ago, and I was visiting her in her house and saying, oh, you know, you're going to do some more art and drawing and stuff. I said, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. Oh, she said, I need an easel. I kind of went, you need an easel? Why do you need an easel? And it was this kind of excuse where you go, oh, well, I can't possibly do this thing until I have this, you know, difficult or hard to acquire or impossible step that I can't get over, so I just won't bother doing it. And I think, to me, that's a real shame, which is why I try and encourage people in all of my YouTube videos. It's about encouraging people to start where you are and just play. Don't make it a difficult thing, don't make it a big thing. Just start, because you never know where that's going to take you and what you're going to find out about yourself and your creativity. So that's kind of what I wanted to have a little rant about today. It may trigger something in you. Perhaps you've been identifying this as a trait in yourself recently. I think it's a big shift, to be honest, on the planet at the moment, is people beginning to wake up and realise their true value and their true worth. And even if it's something small and simple that you're doing, it can have a great deal of value in the world. I always talk about smiling at people in the shops, you know, chatting to the cashiers in the supermarket, who are there sitting there, you know, day after day processing our goods. How nice to have a conversation with somebody who takes an interest, who sees them as a human being rather than just a, you know, a person doing this job. So there we go. You can take it or leave it. As always, this is just me just sharing something with you, which I hope you'll appreciate and understand, and I look forward to doing more of it. I am very excited about my Substack, I have to say. I started that, I think, back in March with fear and trepidation because I knew nothing about it, and I am just really appreciating that I can make lovely videos here, that I'm doing a video clip at the end of each one mostly, or I might shake that up a bit, I don't know, but I really love making my little relaxing, gentle videos about my slow living, whatever it is, here. And then on my Substack, actually showing the art and how to do something. So 2 different things going on, and I'm just loving that. I'm loving doing more filming. I love doing my little monthly post on Substack, which you get for free in your email. It's just a little thoughts about how I'm living and where I'm living, and sharing some photographs with you. Because again, that's another aspect of me. I love taking photographs. I love doing filming, I love drawing, I love sewing, and it's all of these different things that make up me, and it's a joy to share these little things with you. Maybe that'll, you know, resonate with you, and maybe you'll admire yourself more. It just doesn't go well, especially I think with being British. It's a thing. We don't speak about ourselves in positive ways, and I'd really like that to change, and I'm changing it in me first and foremost, and every day, you know, I'm praising myself a little bit more and daring to do things differently. So I'm going to stop there because that's plenty. I'm going to show you a little video that I've made this week. some beautiful flowers that I picked from the garden, and then in my Substack, my paid video this month was drawing from those flowers. So it was a lovely thing to do, go in my garden, pick the flowers, and then work with them as a piece of art and share that with other people. So I hope you're having a good time, a wonderful week, and a creative, whatever you're doing. Let me know in the comments if you're doing something fun and creative. Let me know if this resonates with you and you'd like to take steps to become more of yourself and shout about it a bit more, you know. Take pride in what you do. Be proud of yourself. So I'll leave it there, and I will see you again next time. Who knows which corner of the lounge I'll be sitting in, we'll see. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you all being here, and if you leave me a comment, that's even nicer, but it's lovely just to be here with you. Bye for now.